Today, you'll have a clear understanding of the hiring process for content design and UX writing roles. If you're new here, hi, my name is Yvonne and I am a content designer in tech. I make YouTube videos like this to help you understand what content design is all about. So if that's something you're interested in, please make sure to like and subscribe. In this video, I'll be breaking down the entire hiring process step by step, what to expect as an applicant, and how companies approach hiring for these positions. In the past few months, I've applied for about 13 roles. You know, my knowledge is fresh and we don't gatekeep here, so I will share with you some of the observations I've picked up along the way too. All right, let's dive in. Finding the right job can be pretty overwhelming, I get it. For some of the roles I applied, I had recruiters reaching out to me directly, but I'd say most of the jobs I discovered them through LinkedIn. Now, if you're using LinkedIn as your only job searching platform, it can be pretty messy at times. Some companies would pay to rank their jobs a little higher, so when you're searching for content designer or UX writing roles, you'll see unrelated roles like marketing coordinator, UX designer, and such. This is where job newsletters or industry-specific job boards can really help because they filter through a lot of these noises and give you a very focused, catered view of the jobs that you're looking for. Out of the jobs that I applied for, a few of them I did discover through the job newsletter or the industry-specific boards, so I'd recommend checking them out. I'd say the current job market is definitely improving, but it's still a bit shaky. I have noticed that companies had very specific business needs when it comes to hiring for new content designers, and here are a few themes. One, I've noticed a lot of financial or fintech companies hiring, and it makes sense. Fintech companies and financial institutions deal with a lot of very complex and regulation-heavy content, and content designers can really shine in roles like this. Growth-related content designer roles are also in demand as companies are looking to drive their revenue further. And of course, AI-related positions because, well, AI is everywhere. I'm kidding. Companies are realizing that in order for AI to perform well, it needs a lot of high-quality content as an input. And what better people to hire than people like us? Now, applying. Here's my unsolicited advice. Don't apply through LinkedIn. Apply directly through the company's career website. So on LinkedIn, there are some of these jobs where I call them ghost jobs, where if you do a little bit of cross-referencing on the career site, you won't even be able to find them. But I get it though. Recruiters are really busy. They not only have to do the job postings, screening through candidates, there's a lot to do, and keeping LinkedIn job posting up to date is not always their highest priority. But it's 2025 now, so we're not wasting our time on ghost job postings. I would recommend applying directly through the company's career website. Now, speaking of applying, here's a hard truth. Referrals make a huge difference. Out of all the jobs that I applied for, the ones where I didn't have a referrals, I never heard back ever. So if you can, I would recommend leveraging your network to find a referral. It's the fastest and easiest way to get noticed. Different companies have different referral policies and processes, so I would not submit your applications until you find out what exactly that is. For some companies, the person referring you will have to submit an application directly on your behalf. For other companies, you just simply have to put down that person's name. So it really depends. Once you hit submit, the waiting game kind of begins. Recruiters are now sifting through a massive amount of applications and resumes using application tracking system, or ATS for short. ATS basically scans everybody's resume to help narrow down the application pool. If your application or your resume doesn't hit all the keywords they're looking for, it might not even make it to a real person. I get it though, it's a lot of work to create tailored resume for every single new job application that you create, but if you don't have someone to refer you to the position, I would still go to the tailoring route because it's gonna be the most efficient to get past the machine. During this time, recruiters are also working to understand hiring managers' expectations. What are some must-haves? What are the nice to have? How many years of experience are you expecting? What does that ideal candidate look like? Let's say you make it past the machine and the recruiter is interested in your background. Yay! The next step would be a screening call with the recruiter. Recruiters will use this time to understand your basic qualifications and make sure that you're a good fit for the role. They may also ask about your salary expectations and explain the remaining parts of the hiring process. Speaking of salary expectations, unless you live in one of those 15 states that has salary transparency laws, do your research. Yes, recruiter work with a set amount of budget, but at the same time, they want to be able to have a good package to secure the best candidate possible. From the company's perspective, hiring someone is a huge investment of time, energy, and money. So losing a really strong candidate is an L for everybody. So come prepared and answer with confidence. So if everything goes well with the recruiter, you'll be moving on to the more robust stages of the interviewing process. The actual sequence may vary depending on the company, but the structure is pretty similar. First up is usually a one-on-one with the hiring manager. This is someone who knows the role inside out and they know the team very well too. So this will be really helpful for you to get a clearer picture of the job. They'll probably ask you questions related to your portfolio, and you can have a pretty informal conversation with the hiring manager. And if you're lucky, they'll even give you a few tips on how you can best prepare for the portfolio presentation later on. So make sure to take notes of these. Another part of the interviewing process is what I call the task assessment. So that's your take-home exam, live critique, or even live writing test. Here's some good news. From my most recent rounds of interviews, I've noticed that take-home exams are slowly on their way out. Most companies are starting to opt for live critiques, live writing tests, or even skipping directly to the portfolio presentation entirely. I'm here for it. Thank you. I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit. Let me explain to you what to expect during take-home exams, live critiques, or live writing tests. So if you get a take-home exam, you'll basically be asked to do a few prompts or fake flows and make improvements using your content design skills. So these tasks usually come with a time limit, but let's be real, they take way more time than what they're suggesting all the time. Okay, remember when you were little and you're in math class and teachers will always say, show your work? The same principles apply for take-home exams as well. There's no definitive answer. What hiring managers and the hiring team wants to see is your thinking process. If you'd like me to break down a sample take-home question in a different video, let me know in the comments. Now, if you got the live critique, it's gonna be pretty similar to a design critique you'll encounter at work. Just like the take-home exam, you'll also be given a product flow for you to critique on the spot. Now, live writing tests work pretty similarly as well, except you'll be actually doing a lot of writing on the spot of, UI content, we're creating a flow, things like that. No matter which format of the task assessment you end up getting, the goal is always the same. Hiring team wants to understand how you think and how you can solve design problems. So make sure you demonstrate that. And we're not done here yet. If it all goes well, you'll be moving on to the next stage, which is typically called a virtual onsite. A virtual onsite usually contains two parts, portfolio presentation and team one-on-ones. For portfolio presentation, you typically would pick 1 to 2 case studies to present to a panel of folks, which may include product managers, design managers, content designers, product designers, and so on. The panel wants to know the why behind your case studies. So that's like your process, your decision, and how you measure success. They'll also ask follow-up questions after your presentation, but you may not have time to ask questions back, but that's okay. That's where the team one-on-one comes in place. So after the portfolio presentation is when you're gonna have a series of one-on-one chats with different people. They're likely the cross-functional people that you'll be working with later down the road if you do accept the position. So that's like a PM, a design manager, a designer, a content designer, or a content design manager. Each person is evaluating something different. Some people might be interested in your product's thinking skills, while others want to know you as a content designer, how you influence teams, and how you collaborate with others. And make sure to use these one-on-ones to ask your burning questions as well. And trust your gut if you feel like there's some red flags going on with these jobs. Don't forget, interviewing is a two-way street. You are interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. Stay curious, take notes, and enjoy the process. After the virtual onsite, the hiring team will get together and debrief and evaluate all the candidates that they have interviewed. The hiring team is there to align on the best candidate possible to provide an offer. And if you happen to be that best candidate, the recruiter will work with the hiring manager to review your interview feedback and structure a strong offer for you. If everything goes smoothly, you'll receive an offer and you might even get a call from the hiring manager to really seal the deal. And there you have it, a high-level breakdown of the hiring process for UX writing and content designer roles step by step. It's a lot, I know, but the more you understand how the process works, the better you can prepare for it. If there's any specific stages you'd like me to expand on, say how to nail the recruiter's call or how to best negotiate for salary, please let me know in the comments and I'd be more than happy to make a video on it. Thanks for watching. If you found today's video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe and maybe share the video with someone who's navigating the same journey. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!